Hey Sages, and welcome to your 2019 Year Ahead Annual Forecast. This is Sky here to channel in some intuitive messages and provide some astrological content and tarot views into what the 2019 year looks like for your zodiac sign, okay? So, Sages, you are one of the most energized signs this year. As you've all probably heard numerous times, Jupiter is in your sign. It only does it once every 12 years. Jupiter is at home in Sagittarius. It's its favorite sign, and that really energizes this year in such a powerful, potent, and omnipotent way for you. I'm so excited, and I am so happy that you all are here. I feel blessed to have Sages in my life right now, and if this reading and channeling is good for you, be sure to hit that subscribe button below. If you're new to my channel, I do a lot of psychic channelings, monthly tarot readings, and I just look at the transits that are coming through, and I would so appreciate it if you would subscribe. I mean, you can always unsubscribe later if it's not right, but the subscriptions just mean so much to me, and if it's good for you, be sure to jump over to my Patreon page where you can find my 2019 Year Ahead Meta Companion just by virtue of having a subscription. There's a lot of other benefits there as I am making my goal for 2019 to craft our existence and to structure our lives into a much more healthy, energetic way. So be sure to check out my Patreon page to get more content there. Anyway, Sages, how do you feel coming into 2019? I know for a lot of you it's not quite there, like something you've been seeing through, something you've been really putting a lot of effort and energy into is not quite there, and that's okay. Coming to you from the beginning of this year at least, by March things will be a lot better, I feel. You might have even anticipated that like March of last year, March of 2018 was where things were really going to like pick up, and you might have actually seen a bit of a crash during that time, and you probably would have also seen that by around March of 2018, so many things had to be worked on, so many things had to be like put into order. You know, some of you, a health crisis might have come up. For some of you, you might have had the breakup, or just we're sort of facing a bit of an existential crisis. Even as far back as 2017, for some of you, from the time when Saturn was in your sign. You know, it's interesting that Saturn was just in your sign not long ago. And then right now you're having the Jupiter coming into your sign, so much activation of Sagittarius energy. And it can actually be really shocking, Sag, how difficult things were compared to how incredible they become in 2019. You know, Jupiter is the great benevolent. It's the abundance, prosperity, luck, and expansion in general. So sometimes we can look at it as astrologers as an overwhelmingly optimistic and positive energy generator for an individual, but it can also very much expand negative experiences. It can very much inject potency into things which are toxic as well, and that's what we saw a lot of with Jupiter and Scorpio last year. And you know, you might have seen that you just did not quite reach your goals, or you did not quite get where you wanted to be. And if you did, you might have seen that it didn't bring with it what you expected it to. And that's okay, Sag, because you faced something within the perils that you experienced last year that will forever impact how you navigate on a daily basis. So if you had like a health problem crop up, due to having that, you will now no longer put yourself in situations which make that as possible. Or by having like a really toxic relationship, you will no longer look at relationships as something that are essential to your identity. There's so much growth I feel here, and so much possibility to really thrive regardless. That's what I talked a little bit about in the Jupiter and Sagittarius video. You can click the top right hand corner of your screen to check that out, because I go all into that as a specific transit as well. But Jupiter and Sagittarius, especially for you as a Sag, is all about thriving regardless and proving to yourself that you can generate an environment that is possible to thrive in, and being able to see the silver linings, being able to find optimism even in difficult situations is just such an incredible way to clear out the karma of whatever that was trying to teach you in a difficult way in the first place. So finding an ability to not be so overwhelmed by things which are minute and small, finding an ability to thrive in something that is much smaller than you expected, completely just blows out any of the karma that was really trying to teach you something difficult with that, because that would be you learning that lesson. So no longer does that difficult karmic experience have to continue being evoked. Something that I want to touch on for Sagittarius as well, at an intuitive level, before we're getting too strongly into astrology messages, is fear of open spaces and fear of vacancy. Okay, that's a big thing that I feel in all the mutable signs, actually, but I feel it really strongly represented by you as well as Pisces. So there is a bit of like an agoraphobia, or a bit of a just fear of vacancy and fear of lack, or fear of emptiness, openness. Okay, and I think that it's led you to introduce a lot of like flotsam and jetsam into your life to keep yourself from feeling too vacant, or to keep yourself from feeling too gray zone or too empty. Likewise, I feel that it's turned a lot of you into sort of false homebodies as well, which is an odd type of thing to see for Sagittarius. I've just known a lot of Sagittarius who are wanting to be more within and wanting to be more in the shell, more like pulled back, like very Cancerian, actually. So, especially those of you that have, fourth house or Cancerian placements in your chart as well, you would have probably seen that 2018 really made it feel unnatural to be like out and in the open and boundless, which is what your sign is all about. So to have that stay with any type of permanence will be something that is ultimately confining and energetically destructive to what you're trying to build in life. So I'm definitely going to want to be seeing Sagittarians by around March, hopefully, of 2019, not feeling fear of openness, not feeling fear of vacancy, not feeling fear of clearness, because it's sort of a tricky headspace that you're in with that type of thing, because clearness and vacancy is one of the most godly and holy, divine experiences, because it is with that vacancy and with that clearness that new experiences, new energy can proliferate. When your energetic fractals are empty, you can accept new things in. And that's why a lot of Sagittarians have felt quite stagnant and quite stuck in life, is because they haven't really allowed it to be empty. They haven't really allowed it to clear itself out. So there's not really much new that can come in. But if you fear it being clear and open because it feels so optionless or hopeless, you actually never give yourself hope or options anyway, because it's full. So yes, we're talking very philosophically there, and this is all in your territory, especially if like that Jupiter is transiting up in the upper horizon of your chart, or in the 5th house, or like the 3rd house or something, 9th or 10th. It could really anywhere for Sagittarius. You're going to be more philosophical this year, and you need to see how clearness and possibility is perhaps one of your marketplaces right now, and biggest opportunity for change and growth, all those things that you so love as a Sagittarius, expansion, that is you. So, and Saturn, I think, really taught you, when it was in your sign in like 16 and 17, really taught you about the negative implications of being too open, of being too vacant, of being too trusting even in other presences, trusting that the relationship will work itself out, trusting that the career will work itself out, and through trusting that vacancy, you don't actually get into the driver's seat. And Saturn would have introduced a lot of havoc for not taking control of a situation. So yeah, we're talking about control as well. We're talking about what we choose to change ourselves versus what we allow God or the universe to handle. And that's a big complex there, Sages, that all of you will have some type of connection to in the year of 2019. And what I encourage, and what I feel as of right now to be most important when working with those types of experiences, is more of an instinctual trust and understanding what the right choices to make depending on specific situations, and always continuing with motion and always continuing with mobility in the face of that curiosity or the question of like how to handle a situation. So Sagittarius kind of has to keep moving. Your emotion-oriented sign, mutable energy, fire energy. The fire can go out really easily with Sagittarius because it's a delicate type of fire sometimes. So you've got to keep like the flame stocked. You've got to keep it moving. You've got to keep air on it. You've got to keep fire or wood on it, otherwise it goes out quite easily. So stillness does make the fire go out this year if you're not careful. And you would see that even that would bring you some type of benefit or favor. But you could just have a tendency also to look back on it and not understand why you let the fire go out. So that's just sort of, an indifferent message. It's not really important so much how you choose to work with it or whether you choose to move or be still. The importance is to realize what's on the table with it, and to realize that those are sort of the choices, or rather, those are what choices come down to. Regardless of what they represent, whether it's the relationship or the career or the health, it comes down to like how you energize things and like what types of reactions you get from that. So it's jargony, I know it's complex, but at a more mundane level, great progress in career, great progress in acceptance from other people, and that can look like a good relationship. That can look like promiscuity for some of you. Not that I'm encouraging that, but just situations which bring you a sense of connection and bring you a sense of validation. The ego can be very, very validated in healthy ways, even, for sure. It's not an egoless time, I feel. I feel that the paradigm which we are in right now, and given the nature of Jupiter, Saturn, etc., it is not an egoless time, so do not try to repress that. Just try to see when it's inhibiting you or hurting people around you, and then you're good to go. Because it can really be super fantastical in 2019. I love what I'm feeling. Like, I feel it's a fantastical type of adventure for many Sagittarians. So going on a journey, traveling, making a pilgrimage or some type of homage feels very possible. And really also like a detours on adventures seem likely, and like winding up in places that you didn't expect, with Uranus sort of being at that cusp of Aries and Taurus, and having been in Aries when Jupiter crossed over. It does feel like there can be unexpected detours when it comes to the journeys that we're making. So you could, be like, okay, I'm going from, Tennessee to the United Kingdom, and somehow you wind up in Japan, and that's where you end up spending the next 5 years and like finding love in your life. Like, a lot of weird eccentric things like that can happen. And I feel that you are vulnerably eccentric this year, which is one of the most karmically healing things for you. Striving for vulnerable eccentricity is just such an incredible place, I feel, for Sagittarius. Like, fantastical, vulnerable eccentricity is what I feel your vibe to be right now, which is just gonna show you so much healing and show you so much laughter and so much humor, so much lightheartedness, but also a weight within that reminds you of like your mortality in this like interesting way. So yeah, and you're gonna be like philosophically musing in this way about things like, wow, because I went on that trip and I ended up there, like I saw that through my vulnerable eccentricity, I came much more in touch with my own sense of mortality as a person, and I feel like I understand what life means more now. Like, this is a very Sagittarian type of, conceptualization. And if some of you didn't know, I have a huge Sagittarius stellium in my chart, so it's already hitting me in that way. As for the other astrological messages coming up for you, Sag, it's not going to be too activating. Depending on your chart, of course, is where you see that. But for Sagittarius energy, it's familiarly unactive. I feel like Jupiter injects you. Jupiter makes it hugely active, but other than that, it's kind of nonplussing. Saturn and Pluto are in Capricorn, which is the sign after Sagittarius. So from that perspective, you could see that you level up to like one place higher, relating to like your structures, your discipline, your transformation of career. You could see that there's like a sort of a new face that takes. Uranus moving from Aries to Taurus. By 2019, it's sort of like into Taurus, and like it's not going retrograde anymore. So I feel that to, oddly enough, be a sort of potential for jealousy in some ways as well, because I've always said that Taurus and Sagittarius are mutually jealous of one another. So whenever you have like a lot of Taurus energy for a Sag, you can see jealousy tendencies. Whenever you have a lot of Sag for a Taurus, you can see jealousy tendencies. I don't know what that's about. But it's Uranus, and that deals a lot more with like collective societal things. So you could see like a collective societal jealousy relating to you or towards other people. But it's not really that hugely active. Like, you would have to have like a lot of like, 0-degree Taurus stuff in your chart to really be hit by that type of thing, I feel. Mars does great for you in this year. We're starting off the year with Mars in Aries. It does go into Taurus, then we're going to have that Uranus-Mars conjunction. So that could be a period of time where you experience what I was just talking about. Mercury retrogrades aren't as bad this year. We had them in fire signs last year, and I believe they're in earth signs this year. I'm not actually positive. I'll have to like double check that, but not nearly. It was in Sag, Aries, and Leo last year, and that was really, really painstaking for Sag. So the Mercury retrogrades, they're Mercury retrogrades, but they're not going to be as crazy this year for you. We have an incredible Jupiter-Venus conjunction at the beginning of the year. So healing for you, Sagittarius. One of the best times of the year for you. And it starts a series of chapters that can be really, really beautiful, really incredible. That's coming in January, later January. And that will I think, impact you for the rest of the year in a benevolent and positive way. You know, Jupiter and Venus together are the one of the most benevolent traditional astrological connections. So enjoy that luck and prosperity as it comes in. For those of you doing business endeavors or like new marketing, new entrepreneurial endeavors, so supported with Venus conjunct Jupiter. Really, really incredible for your bank account if you're not being too lazy. It can be a bit of a laziness transit as well, and an indulgent transit. Watch out for overeating, Sag. That's one thing. You can gain weight easily this year. But a lot of you are going to be really active though. Like this should also make you want to be more active, exercise more. Running would be a great thing for Sagittarius this year because horses run, they enjoy running. You know, any type of cardio exercise done in a like reasonable way is going to be so energetically healing for you as well. But yeah, watch out for overindulgence, watch out for too much alcohol, watch out for any type of indulgence of eating or drinking or just too much, because you can overdo that just a little bit. Try to channel that into like too much money if you can, or too much love or something like that. Also, promiscuity can be a possibility with Venus conjunct Jupiter. So watch out for your libido. That can be strong. Mars in Aries, Venus, Jupiter conjunct in Sagittarius. Super blood moon eclipse in Leo. That is not a that's a very libido augmenting energy, so watch out for that towards the end of January. I would try to abstain during that time if it were possible. At the same time, though, I feel you to be like lucky and protected, so you know you don't have to like worry too much, but just be careful also for succumbing to like urges. So like you're in a relationship that you really love and there's like an urge to cheat. I'm not saying that you guys would do that, but just watch out for your urges. Watch out how they kind of like sneak up on you and how they might be coming out in sort of unseen small ways. It's just a good thing to keep an eye on with so much impetus there this year. And what else am I missing out here? Pluto, not a huge thing in your chart right now unless you have a lot of Capricorn. Chiron in Aries, that you could see like I would think a lot of healing based on some of the past traumas coming in, but you could see trauma where you are assuming healing to be taking place as well. It's possible, but doubtful considering the protection of like Jupiter Venus energy right at the beginning of this year. So yeah, astrologically, Sag, that pretty much sums it up. It's good. It's lucky, it's benevolent, it's prosperous. You've done like the lessons I feel over the last few years. So unless you go against that, or unless you betray yourself in some way, I wouldn't expect the transits to really be something very difficult for you. It's kind of peripheral other than that, you know, huge Jupiter and Sag. Anyway, if you guys might have seen from some of the other videos in this series, I'm introducing two concepts that I channeled in for your year ahead. The first one for Sag is making the world your oyster in the most eccentric way. So yeah, this is a time where you can like truly be the center of attention, where you can have such power over your environment. Try to not be too egoic about it though. Like try to not walk into a space or walk into a group of people or a friend group and automatically become the pearl of the oyster, like unnaturally. So yeah, that could be the only thing, especially if you have a weird Saturn transit right now and you try to start like constructing this sense of service or this sense of like altitude in your social standing. Watch out for social climbing. Watch out for generating that in a false way. But if it happens naturally, it's beautiful. The second one is holding true to yourself and not desperately to others. So Sagittarius, as I was saying, it became a bit more considering, a bit more homebound, and you might have seen that you hold on really tightly to people around you, or that you need a lot of constant validation. Hold to yourself, find your validation within, don't look to other people for it, and you'll feel much better. Okay, Sages. And I'm just going to go ahead and start shuffling the tarot cards, and we will get a tarot card for you for the year of 2019. Let's see what's coming up. I hope I give you a bit of ASMR with the shuffling. Okay, a card for Sag in the year of 2019. I'm just going to allow something to jump out when it's ready. Almost. Three of Wands. How perfect. Really, really perfect for you, Sagittarius. Completely indicative of what you're going through. Looking towards new horizons. Finding yourself prepared to embark on the next journey. How do you hold yourself up, though? To counter that with a bit of shadow work, I would think about how you hold yourself up. Because when I think of Three of Wands, I look at how he's holding on to one of them with his right arm. And there's a suggestion to me that it's hard to be independent yet there is this desire to embark anew with independent power. So you could find frustration in your independence and what you're holding on to during the time of wanting to embark. Also, due to certain experiences I've had with this card, I've come to find out it's not as wholly positive as it's traditionally interpreted. I've seen with myself and with many, many clients that Three of Wands is one of the main cards that come up when you've really gone through a difficult breakup or some sort of really strong relationship trauma. So this could be the year where you're called to heal from that. Likewise, it could show that you need to not be focusing your attention onto people whose backs are turned on you. So that can be a tendency with Three of Wands. A lot of people think Three of Wands is from the perspective of the person standing there, but sometimes I like to think of it from the perspective of the camera and from the perspective of the person looking towards another being with their back turned on them. And I think that that could be interesting food for thought. Sagittarius, what closed doors are you choosing to focus on? It shouldn't be that huge of a deal to reorient your path and to look towards more beautiful horizons and come into the place of the figure that we see in Three of Wands. And that's what I would say to wrap up with that, Sagittarius. Be the figure in Three of Wands with strong independence and not the camera, not the person behind Three of Wands. Be the person ahead, okay? Look towards the ocean, look towards the ships. Great times for boat riding or for journeys by water. Great time for any type of incredible journey. And this year will be a journey for you one way or another. Okay, Sagittarius. Beautiful, beautiful reading, beautiful energy. I'm going to conclude there. I've really loved it. I hope you guys are doing great. I hope that you'll jump over and find my 2019 Year Ahead Meta Companion to get a little bit of extra insight about what you're going through. I go month by month, prescribing a tarot card for each month. It's a written report, and I also give some general healing advice, and I just think it's a great thing to come back to throughout the year or to kind of plan your month through. I really enjoyed making it. It's like 10 plus pages, and that is available if you click the center of your screen to be downloaded. So be sure to check that out if you get the opportunity. Likewise, all of the links are in the description box below. Your likes, subscribes, and comments make my day. Enjoy this year, this impeccable year for you, Sag. Bye.